Turkish and EU leaders have agreed on a historic deal in curbing the influx of migrants that has plunged Europe into its biggest refugee crisis since the end of World War II. Under the deal, all migrants arriving in Greece from Turkey as early as Sunday will be returned back. Our reporter Elena Casas has the details of the deal and concerns over it.
European leaders have reached a diplomatic breakthrough here with Turkey. For each and every Syrian refugee sent back to Turkey from Europe, one other will be resettled in Europe who's currently in a Turkish refugee camp. And those who have tried to make the trip illegally from Turkey to Europe will go to the bottom of the list. Now, there are a number of obstacles holding up this deal, primarily the question of whether it's even legal. A number of European leaders were concerned that given that Turkey is not a member of the Geneva Convention and it doesn't give full refugee rights to the Syrians currently within its borders, it would be illegal for Europe to send refugees back there. Now, to get over this obstacle, Europe essentially is going to send hundreds of immigration lawyers and judges to Greek islands to process each and every person's claim individually, because every refugee arriving in Europe has the right to have their claim assessed individually, to have legal representation, and to have the right to appeal if their initial application is rejected. Now, EU leaders are saying every single refugee arriving in Europe from Sunday, when this agreement is set to come into force, will get those rights. But whether or not this is really feasible is a difficult thing really to assess, given that Greece, the country that most of them are arriving in, is desperately short of resources to cope with the migrant crisis. It is, of course, going through its own severe financial problems, and as recently as last summer didn't even have electronic equipment to register migrant arrivals. They were just taking fingerprints on pieces of paper. So now Greece has been given less than 36 hours to roll out a procedure which will individually assess each and every single migrant's claim to asylum in Europe within just a couple of days is the aim. So it remains to be seen whether this is actually a practical aim.